or he had a breast or an ass or a leg fetish, right? Like there are fellas that do like objectification. They objectify a woman based on their feet, their legs, their ass, their breasts, body stuff. Then they kind of, they just kind of basically worship that woman until the sun comes up and the sun goes down. And they're basically focusing on the one exact body part rather than anything else. But also comes with that is a little bit of directions, a little bit of control, a little bit of TPE. There's different types of moods for different types of fetishes, I guess one would say. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing the Dear Mistress column, so please send me your emails, bdsmaliveradio@gmail, put Mistress Q&A, type your questions. If you want to remain anonymous, I can leave it anonymous. Or if you want to use a name, you can tell me your name. I also have the phone number, which this Friday, tomorrow, tonight's show, I'm not taking calls because it's a recorded show. But the following Friday, I will be live on the air. And the phone number for the show is 516-406-3512. And, my show airs live Friday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. My new show, The Whip Appeal, has been doing really, really good. I have to thank everybody for all the downloads and all the beautiful comments I've been getting on all the apps that we're on. So, the show can be heard on iHeart, Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Deezer, Caspa. I mean, we're everywhere. The network's actually growing pretty nice, I have to say. And actually, if anybody who's listening to the show this evening, maybe for the first time, or you've been a repeat offender and a big fan of Mistress for years, I'm actually trying to grow the network. So if anybody is listening to the show and they would like to join my little network, whether you're a kink-friendly fetishist or you're a dom, male or female, submissive, male or female, who is interested in starting a podcast, I'm interested in having people join the podcast network with me so I can grow a network. Right now I have Mistress Black Velvet, who does a show every other Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. She's in Philadelphia. Mistress Black Velvet has been a dominatrix for 15 years. She's well known in where she lives. And she's, an older dame, and she's absolutely fantastic. I love her to death. She is my sister in femdom for many, many years. And I was very excited when she asked to come on the network. So Mistress is trying to grow the network. So this way there's all sorts of different shows and different days. And, of course, my views and opinions on BDSM are based on what I know. So it's kind of interesting to see other mistresses and their input with their rules and protocols about the BDSM that they practice. Now, no two dominants on the face of the earth will have the same rules and protocols. But if you're into old school BDSM like myself and Mistress Black Velvet is, or are, then you will know that we share the same type of views, okay? So how she dominates her slaves and submissives, I do kind of the similar, but yet, like I said, we all have our different views. So, just because she does something one way doesn't mean that I have to do it that way. Now, generally, when it comes to BDSM type activity, you want to be within the realm of what is and what isn't, okay? So, for someone like myself, who's been a dominatrix for 32 years, I've seen it all. I could tell you things I've seen with my own naked eyes and things I've witnessed on the internet, okay? So, basically I have my own views and opinions, and so does Mistress Black Velvet. So we love to talk about our views and how we see things in the world, especially, about submissives and, how some of them, like, doesn't matter how you are and where you live in this lifestyle. There's always somebody that's got to top from the bottom. There's always somebody that's got to break the rule. There's always somebody that's got to, kind of put mistress's panties in a bunch, so to speak, right? So that, of course, goes hand in hand with living a vanilla lifestyle, like I was talking about earlier. And then you go into your kinky side, and mostly we kinky folk try to stay within our kinky folk limit. Like, we try to hang out with like-minded individuals, people who are into the same stuff we are. So this way, when we hang out with them, we don't look like mental patients, right? So it's a food for thought, actually, on the whole feederism. It's a food for thought, right? So I don't know. I mean, I thought it was really cool that this lady asked me about her boyfriend's secret feederism fetish. And, I was kidding around with her. I said, it could be a lot worse. He could have a panty fetish, and he could be a cross-dresser behind your back. And she goes, nah, he's pretty straight. I said, yeah, but you'd be surprised. I said, if he's got a feety fetish, I'm sure he's got other fetishes that you don't really know about. So she said that she was going to have him listen to the show tonight. So I think I was going to call him Mr. B, because this is what she had said to call him. So Mr. B, if you're listening to the show, I hope you learned a little bit about your kind of fetish. I think your girlfriend had said that you were kind of new to the fetish, that you've only been kind of exploring it for the past couple of months. So I think that's a great thing, but you really have to, what's the word? You really have to, I guess, really decide how you're going to work this fetish in with your girlfriends, because it seems that, she does love you and she wants to help you explore your kink and fetishes, but she doesn't want to get fat in the process. So maybe you guys can come to a common denominator or a compromise where she helps you explore your fetish, but it's done with not the same amount of food that you would be feeding another woman with. So this is kind of the interesting creme de la creme of this. Does she continue to explore your fetish with you by allowing her to control how much food she eats, right? So it kind of relinquishes your control a little bit. Or does she not assist you with your fetish and allow you to go and see other people to get your fetish kinks elsewhere, okay? So it's kind of an interesting way to look at it. Because, this type of fetish, it's not really where the woman could dominate the man. He's the one feeding the woman the food, and he kind of has the control in this aspect. So even though he may be a submissive, trying to serve a feedy femdom, and he's really, topping from the bottom, because in this way, he's the one feeding the woman. So, I don't know, it's kind of an interesting subject and how you look at it, no matter how you look at it, because one would say, oh no, he's just a regular guy that has a fetish for feeding women. That may be so, but if you look at it from the BDSM aspect, if he's the submissive going to see a heavyset femdom who loves to be fed, then technically it's considered role reversal, where the submissive is topping from the bottom and she's getting fed from it. So it's kind of an interesting aspect in how you look at it. But Tara and Mr. B, I wish you guys the best. You know where to find me if you have any more questions about kinks and fetishes, and this is why Mistress loves to do the show, because I love to answer people, I love to give people information, and I love to teach people about BDSM and kink and S&M and different types of fetishes, because fetishes, I think, are making the world go more round and round and round, as of lately anyway. I notice on Twitter there's a lot more fetish type related stuff on there. I recently got a Fire Stick, and there's a whole bunch of stuff on Netflix, how to build a sex room. I don't know if anybody has seen it, but it's pretty interesting. There's this woman who goes to people's houses and builds sex rooms in their house, whether they have like, I watched a couple of them. They're pretty cool. Basically, she goes in and makes like a kinky sex room, like with the St. Andrew's cross and like some suspension and some chairs, like, spanking benches, or even like modern type furniture with a sex swing. So that's really something to check out if you're kind of interested in learning a little bit about BDSM. Like, in 50 Shades of Grey, Christian Grey had his little sex room. I forget what they call it, but because, I don't remember too well that kind of stuff. But Christian Grey has like his little sex room where he takes Anastasia and, puts her on the cross and spanks her and, turns her on sensually and then, bangs her out and then the scene's over. You know what I mean? So like, and that's just putting it nicely in a nutshell. Okay, so, oh my goodness. And I think actually, I'm looking through my email right now. I think there was another email from this raincoat fetish guy who keeps emailing me on Instagram like, hi, are you there? Like messaging me. And then he doesn't say anything. And then he's like, Mistress, I have a question for you. So finally, like after a whole year of this guy messaging me, I said, listen, either call into the show or ask me questions to talk about on the show. And then you can listen to the show and get all your fucking answers. This way you can stop emailing me like 100 times like a month. And he said, okay. So raincoat fetish, if you're listening to the show tonight, your fetish is quite interesting, but it also goes hand in hand with a PVC fetish. So think about it. Old-fashioned raincoats and parkas back in the day were all made out of PVC vinyl, correct? So think about it. This fella has a raincoat fetish. So I can only imagine when he goes into a sporting goods store. It's kind of funny. PVC or vinyl has like a smell like beach balls or like beach balls and what's the other one? Pool floats and stuff, right? When you first take them out of the package, they have that like plasticky, like rubber smell. So it's kind of interesting. The PVC raincoat fetish is kind of the same thing. This fella, though, is kind of interesting. His raincoat fetish, the raincoats have to be clear, okay? I think what he does is he either likes wearing them and being naked in them while he's masturbating, or he prefers a dominant to wear a clear raincoat with like some sort of short outfit underneath. Because obviously, look, you could be naked under there. You could tease a guy through the gills. If you're into like, CFNM, clothed female, naked male. Yeah, your clothes on, but you have a clear PVC raincoat on, wearing like a pair of panties and a bra underneath, or you are completely naked under the clear raincoat and you are parading around with a clear parasol and maybe some clear rain boots like galoshes. That would be kind of a hot looking outfit, I guess. But think about it. If it was me, I'd wear the clear raincoat and put like bra and panties on underneath, because nobody's going to see Mistress's private parts unless I tell you can. So to answer your question, raincoat fetish, I don't really wear raincoats. I'm not really into, I like to wear PVC because I look good in it, but I'm not wearing it to get off. That's not my forte. But do I know other people that have like a raincoat fetish? Not really. I think he seems to be the only one. But there's also people that have a PVC and latex fetish, and that's a little bit different. But I guess to some degree, the PVC and vinyl are kind of like the same thing to some degree. They're like a plasticky type material, or plastic in general. And then you wear it in the rain, and of course you stay dry. And it's not like a raincoat, like a condom raincoat. It's an actual raincoat fetish. For those of you who are listening to the show tonight, it's an actual raincoat fetish, like an actual raincoat, not like a full body condom, So, but yeah, so raincoat fetish, that seems to be all I can